This is the Boys podcast from TV Podcast Industries, and we're talking about The Boys Presents Diabolical, Season 1, Episode 2, an animated short where pissed off Supes kill their parents. Welcome back, fellow boys and girls. This is TV Podcast Industries. I'm one of your hosts, John, and we are talking about episode 2 of The Boys Presents Diabolical. The name of the episode is probably going to be will take me half the time of this podcast. The title is an animated short where pissed off Supes kill their parents.
Excellent. I'm one of your other hosts, Derek. Chris, unfortunately, unable to join us for these first couple of episodes anyway of The Boys Diabolical. But this is an interesting second episode.
It really is.
Last time it was all about the kind of as close as they could get to the comic books. This time, a very different style.
Yes, it's very Rick and Morty is this episode. And it is equally as bonkers and irreverent as the first one, if not more so, given the carte blanche that they had with coming up with all these pissed off Supes who are going after their parents on a mission of revenge.
Absolutely. Just before we get into the details of the episode, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can subscribe over on tvpodcastindustries.com. You can also find us on any drunk or sober podcast catcher. Just search for TV Podcast Industries or The Boys TV Podcast. I think you should find us under that. And you can also email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com if you have any thoughts about any of the episodes of The Boys Diabolical.
Yes. Derek, what are some of the details for this episode?
Well, you kind of mentioned a little bit already. This episode was written by Justin Roiland and Ben Bayouth. Justin Roiland is probably most well known for his roles on Rick and Morty. He's the star of Rick and Morty. You can definitely tell his voice in this episode. And the animation style is inspired by Justin Roiland's aesthetic, according to the press release. So yes, it is meant to feel like it's of the world of Rick and Morty, really, and of Justin Roiland and his style. But interestingly, Parker Simmons, who's the director of the episode, does come from animation, but not from Rick and Morty, so he's attempted to emulate that style. He comes from DC Super Friends. He did 15 episodes of DC Super Friends, so it's quite interesting that they were able to emulate it that well that you could tell this feels of that universe, right?
Yeah, definitely. It just, the eyes, and the teeth and the nose, all those just scream Rick and Morty, as well as some of the voice acting as well. So
that's true.
Yes, really, really good.
That's true. Well, John, do you want to give us your one-line synopsis for episode 2 of The Boys Presents Diabolical?
Sure. Literally the title of this episode, an animated short where pissed off Supes kill their parents.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. There's not really too much more to say to it.
Dare I say it? Yes, they're pissed off. The reason they're pissed off, though, of course, is they have shit powers and have been abandoned by their parents. And it does link a little into the show where the revelation that the compound V that was given by Voight Industries to pregnant women in order to generate the superpowers, this has all come out in the wash. And so these Supes, these kids that have been abandoned because they've got really bad powers, are suddenly realizing why they are in this predicament, why they have been put out to adoption, effectively, into a care home for children, and that's what has made them angry and intent on revenge.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it is quite tied in with the storyline that was in the Boys TV show. But the creativity on display here from Justin Roiland and Ben Bayouth of the characters they come up with. There is way too many characters to go through. I think 9 major characters, I think, or 10 major characters that are in here. So do you want to give some of your favourites, John? Some of the favourite characters that you have?
I have to say, one of my favorites is Boombox, and that is because of the Hootie and the Blowfish. It's the only thing he can play, and of course, Hootie and the Blowfish are from the 90s. One of my favorite albums. Their first album. I mean, it won Grammys and all sorts, and I absolutely loved that album to bits. And I love how it is literally the only song that's played through the entire episode.
They certainly got their money's worth on it. I think it's played 3 or 4 times in the episode. I always forget that you're a Hootie and the Blowfish fan. I lived in I lived in North Carolina when that album came out, and the band are from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So it was everywhere. And this is a time when there were massive albums out there, but the only thing you would hear in every single shop or every single bar or every single restaurant that you went to was Hootie and the Blowfish. They were like the Lighthouse Family, if you remember them from the 90s.
I remember them as well. I like their albums
everywhere.
As well. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think but my
this
favorite...
is why we don't have a music podcast, fellow boys and girls.
My favorite bit is where they have the montage of the kids extracting their revenge, and Ghost, one of the Soup kids, says, "Boombox, we need a violent montage music," and it's just a ramped up version of Hootie and the Blowfish.
It's not even ramped up.
And it's
literally the same song.
Yeah, it's the ssame track as well. Yeah. And indeed, when Boombox goes to kill his own parents, it's through Hootie and the Blowfish being ramped up to huge volumes that make the parents' heads explode. So really enjoyed Boombox. I absolutely loved Agua, which was effectively Mexican water in a paddling pool, and that was literally that soup was
just water
with the Mexican flag.
No tidal waves, just water.
Just water. And of course, there is Picante balls as well. I knew
he might be a favourite.
Which was absolutely hilarious. And again, the revenge killing on his father was just sublime, where it was silhouetted through Japanese screens of him putting his Picante balls directly onto the throat of his father to kill him. So very inventive ways of killing parents in this episode. So interesting. I think the other one that stands out as well is obviously Booby Face, and indeed yes. Just because of how someone has come up with that, and then that has gotten into an animation that is on Prime Video. But indeed, the revenge killing of Booby Face's mum was them all looking through the window going, well, she looks fine. Flashback, one of the other Supes who can only do flashbacks, sees that she actually mutilates animals, and it's like, let's kill her. And it's simply a shotgun through the window from Booby Face.
Exactly.
But the adoring and grateful puppies and animals that come from his mother's house do ultimately make Booby Face leak all over the screen. So again, just absolutely out there, but so funny.
Absolutely. I think you've actually taken most of the Supes that are in the episode, but I absolutely love, and it's probably because it's played by one of my favourite actors when I was growing up, Christian Slater, who plays Paul the narrator. I absolutely love that this is his superpower. He tells everybody what they're doing and what they will be doing all the time. He narrates everything, because it gets really dark towards the end of the episode. At the start of the episode, it's just a voiceover. He's basically telling you what's going on. By the end of the episode, he's narrating to his father that he is scooping off his face with a spoon, wearing it, and telling him he's sorry because he looks like his father in the mirror. Really, really brutal.
Yes, the narrator probably has the most sort of dark storyline, because he chooses not to go with the other Supes, but knows about it and then does it later, and is wearing the face of his father. Because ultimately, I think it's with Ghost, who I have to say is probably, it sounds like the worst kind of thing, is she's a ghost, but she still feels hungry, but can't eat anything. And she's at her parents', but she uses another one of the Supes, Moslow, who moves very slowly.
You know, I have to say, I really like Moslow. I think it could be really annoying if it was a much longer episode, but I think they played the timing of him so good when he's killing his father, played by Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
When he's killing his father, and his father's going, "What is that you're doing?" And he goes, "I'm killing you." But they play just the cadence of his speech is perfect. So you're not really annoyed. You are just listening to what it is that he's saying, and don't scream. The way he's saying it to him is really, really good. And then they use that again for Ghost to kill her father, to possess him almost, so that she
use the
like
knife.
She's the one that uses the knife to kill her father. Yeah.
But ultimately, her mother has called Voight, and Homelander arrives and effectively kills them all, with the exception of Ghost.
Because he can't.
With his laser eyes, because he can't.
Because he can't. And she spreads all of the information that they found out about all the kids' parents to everybody else. So this revenge spree, I guess, will go on. Is what's happened here. It's just that group that start the revenge spree. They all get killed by Vought, but she is now giving it to all the rest of the kids. So that's why we see the narrator at the end of the episode able to kill his father.
And I think some of the scenes with the parents abandoning their kids, or the explanations as to why they have done this. You know, also it puts in context why the kids are doing it, but is also hilarious in and of itself. Certainly around Kingdom, one of the Supes, who transforms into any animal in the animal kingdom, but also not only body but mind. So if he turns
it's so
into
dumb but really funny,
it is. So I think one of the attacks, they throw Kingdom on to constrict, turn into a snake and constrict, but he's a snake. He doesn't remember what he's supposed to do, so it just slithers away. And they say, like, catch him, so he doesn't run off.
Absolutely. But when he goes to kill his dad's, his parents, and you see the two of them in bed together, they go, "We had to give you up because we thought you were going to shit on the rug." Effectively, he keeps turning into a dog, which is what he says, and then acting like a dog. But one of his dads goes, "We gave you up because you kept wanting to shit in the rug." He turns into a shark, kills one of his dads, and the other dad, you hear him running away going, "Oh no, my rug," before he gets eaten. Some really funny ones. Ghost's mom and dad I thought was really funny, where the reason they're giving her up is because she goes, "I'm hungry," and they go, "Look what we have to put up with. Isn't this awful?"
Yeah, exactly.
Really, really interesting ideas from Justin Roiland right out of his mind. The guy has so many interesting concepts coming out of it. I know Dan Harmon is heavily involved in the writing of Rick and Morty. That's his show, of course, but I know Justin Roiland has quite a lot of contribution to that, and you can tell that from this episode.
It's a revenge short, basically, and it's very inventive, very imaginative, and yes, it is not necessarily for everyone, but I thought this was another great episode.
Yeah, excellent. What do you have a score for this one?
I do. I have 4.5 terror ball licking out of 5.
Okay.
It's just, I think because they're so digestible. The short, very rarely more than 15 minutes, between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
They're very digestible. They're not complicated, but they jam pack with so much imagination, inventiveness, riffs on other well-known animations and styles and so on. It's really, really good. And this was just, it was just a revenge killing short of abandoned children who were abandoned by their parents because the powers that resulted from their Vought injection effectively gave them really bad powers, and they were abandoned. And so, it's just really good.
I really like this idea. It's effectively going to a bunch of really creative people and going, if you had the opportunity to do anything you wanted, no restrictions at all, in the universe, will animated, what would you do? This is what they came up with. Final gag that I liked for the episode. I loved when the name of the episode finally came up, an animated short where pissed off Supes kill their parents, and then you see on the road as they're going off to kill the parents a note saying, this is probably quite late in the episode to put this in, but we could do whatever we want. Very good stuff. That's it for episode 2, I think, for The Boys Present Diabolical. We'll be back tomorrow with our thoughts about episode 3 of The Boys Diabolical.
Yeah, thank you so much, fellow boys and girls, for tuning in to our little snippet on all things The Boys Diabolical. Speak with you next time. Bye.
Bye.